Hi everyone, it's Robbie Adamson, and I'm going to be doing playing in a Blitz tournament real quick for the Southern Arizona Chess Association that they're putting it on, and I'm going to be commenting on the games as we go through, and I'm going to be listening to a little Zhu music in the background, and I'm going to be giving some comments. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I thank all those that have done so far. I've done 3 Benko Gambit lectures so far, and it's been very enjoyable to do, and I'm going to try to provide my commentary on my games as I play in this event, and I do appreciate the comments in all the videos. I've tried my hardest to respond to everybody, and even some questions on Facebook that people have given me to, so keep those things coming, and I plan to keep doing the videos because I've really enjoyed going through this. I'm waiting for this Southern Arizona Chess Association event to start. We're playing a 4-round event, and the time control is 5 minutes with a 3-second increment, so hopefully that'll give me enough time to provide that commentary that is needed. And we are about to start. So I'm black, and so my opponent played d4. I'm playing knight f6, and we're going to keep going with the Benko because that's what is consistent with my video series that I've done. So my opponent is quickly playing this. Aha, he's playing the f3 system. Okay, so the f3 system, last time when I did the video, I covered that there's a couple of lines black can play it the stereotypical way of just playing d6, g6, bishop g7. You can also play e6, which is the exciting line. And then, of course, there's AB, which is the solid, and that's the one I'm most familiar with. So we're going to go ahead and try that. My opponent's going to play e4 now to try to gain the center. And so the correct move is queen a5 check. And then the standard move that almost everybody plays here is bishop d2. I play b4, and then knight a3. So my opponent actually knows this line. Maybe he studied it. So d6. My opponent played knight c4, so I'm going to play queen c7, which has been the move I've always played in these positions. And let's see who this guy is. And this is someone I do not know who this is. So we're going to check this out. And the book move here is a3. I'm not doing this as a live broadcast, so I'm not giving away too much information here of what he might do. But okay, so he played a3. I take the pawn. Taking with the pawn is the wrong move. Either knight takes a3 or rook takes a3 is more standard. This position ends up being decently solid. It's not going to get me any kind of an advantage or something, but it is definitely not the most testing line by white. What white typically does is he puts his bishop on d3, he moves the knight to e2, and castles. So a4, a little ambitious. I'm not sure that's that important at this point, so I'm just going to continue developing my pieces with bishop g7. Now, if my opponent plays a5, he might be trying to get the knight into b6. So I do have to be a little concerned with that move, so I probably will play nbd7 to prevent that. He did not do that, so castles. He's going to play knight e2, which is the standard move. And what's interesting is normally white has played knight e2 in this position, and he would be deciding whether to castle or play a4. Here my opponent does not develop his last piece. So what this leads me to believe is that maybe, rather than following the typical way of playing it, I should vary from what I'm supposed to do. And maybe I should take advantage of white's not developing his pieces by playing the move e6, which undermines the center. Okay, and I think that is definitely a winner. The question will be if he takes, do I take with the pawn and then try to play for d5? Not sure about that. We'll have to think about that when the time comes. Okay, so I'm just waiting to see what he's going to do. Is he going to take the pawn? Okay, he did. Now, of course, the downside of him taking on e6 is that now my knight can go to c6, which is a good square. So the question is now, do I play bishop takes or do I play fe? If fe, he could play e5 and mess up my pawns, although his king is a little airy. I'm going to go with the more principled move, which is just bishop takes e6 to try to get my pieces out and not try to create any kind of unnecessary weaknesses. Interesting, my opponent is just daring, he's basically not castling, And this pawn on a5, is it really that important to play that? So what are the moves I should be looking at here? Well, the moves that I think of immediately is maybe knight takes e4, maybe bishop takes c4, and then of course the most inviting move of all is playing d5. If he plays d5, he might try knight b6. I could play rook a7. He could take twice on d5, but I think that's probably pretty good for me, actually. So the question is, let's be careful on what music I play so I don't get myself in trouble with YouTube. So let's see what we're going to play here. So I have some options. I could play knight to nbd7 and stop knight b6 from coming in altogether. My opponent probably would play knight e2, and then I could play d5. Let's check that out and see. Let's just talk that out, see if there's anything special. I kind of like that idea, actually. But d5, my instincts are telling me that d5 is the more principled move to try. It does trade off some material. You know what? I'm going to go safe, and I'm going to play knight bd7 to stop knight from going into b6. And then when he plays knight e2, then I'm definitely going to strongly consider playing d5. So let's check this out. Let's see where this leads. I don't know what other move he could play besides knight e2. I mean, he's got to castle and develop his pieces at some point. Okay, good. So he did do that. Again, you always have to look at forcing moves like knight takes e4. I don't think that it really works. I don't see any benefit to taking on c4. I can't really win this pawn. If I was going to try that, I could have tried knight c6 and done it. Or I could have taken and played knight c6 and tried to win the pawn. But I don't really see a need for doing that. So we're just going to bust open the center with d5. And then he's going to take, and then I have to just make a decision. Do I take with the bishop or the knight? My instincts tell me the knight, because he'll trade bishops. And let's just check this out. Let's see how this goes. Make sure I don't fall behind too far on the clock here, because my opponent's playing a little bit better than a 1600, I would say. So doing a good job. But one of the nice things about this position is that we each have an isolated pawn, but I have an outpost on b4 that I can use. This pawn is kind of advanced for kind of no reason. So I really don't see. Now, e3 could be a little bit airy, but the knight's guarding it. If he doesn't castle, the only other move I could see him playing is queen d2. Okay, so he played queen c1. So kind of a similar thing. So what else could I try here? So knight e5 is of course very ambitious. He might play queen b2 and pin me. What else could I do here? Knight b4 does look like the right move here, but he is smart by moving his queen there. So let's check this out. I could play king g8, and that would set some things up. I'm going to play knight b4. I'm going to put my knight on a good square here, and so let's see what happens. So I'm anticipating that he's going to play queen c3 check. That's the move I would play, and I'll probably instantly respond with king g8, although knight f6 is sort of interesting also. Not sure if that gives me... Actually, there is some value to that, because of queen c3, knight f6, it does open up the d file. I could play rook d8 and go after the pawn a little bit. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring my piece into the game. I'm going to play knight f6 here. Okay. Interesting little tactic. If he played knight b6, ooh, that move is not good. I'm going to guess. So what we're going to do here is, I can't take it clearly because it's pinned. I could move the rook, although I really don't see a need to. If I take on c4, he takes back, I want a pawn. If I take, he takes, I take there. That's pretty good. So I'm going to go for the clean pawn, because that's the kind of greedy guy that I am. So bishop takes there, and if he takes with a queen, then I could either take here first and then take here, although I would probably just take here and not, there's no reason to do that unless I want him to take with a pawn for some reason. Well, let's check it out. Let's see if he gives me the option. But I think queen takes c4 is the best move of all. Okay, so he takes there. That is very risky, because now when I take here, now I have, if he takes back, I can take here and I have 2 pieces for the rook. So I think he made a big blunder here by handling it that way. So now once he takes here, I'm just going to take here. So I got to play decently quick so I don't get low on time and blow some game. But yeah, let's not well, okay. Now I could throw in the rook check first, but I think that only helps him. So I should just go ahead and take here. And now I got 2 pieces for the rook, and I'm also actually threatening to take here. So black is definitely winning here. The question is should I go for more than taking here? I suppose he could, yeah, that's an interesting little trick, because if I take here, he could take, and everything comes off, and I have to win a 1 ending. So is there something else I could do? I mean, the most natural is to go here and to go ahead and take him, so I think this makes most sense. Remember, whenever a piece moves from a square, it's not guarding something it guarded before. This is obviously the best move because I'm threatening to take here with check. And this is starting to look really, really hopeless for white. My opponent played very well. He violated some general principles and then decided to violate the general principle just a little bit longer. So I think that's something. Ooh, that can't be good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take here with check. That looks like a winner. Okay, so now I could take and go knight d3 check and win the rook, or even better, just move the rook to e8, and that wins the queen for sure. And this is a disaster, and I would think that white would resign pretty quickly here. There's just not enough time to try to flag me, and of course we're playing with increment, and see, yeah, that was not very good. So let's take a look actually and see what actually happened in this game. So he played a very interesting line. So we already talked about how taking on a3 with the pawn is probably not the best move, but I actually have faced that quite a few times on ICC and chess.com. So a4 here. So I guess one of the things I would tell you guys as you're trying to calculate what to do in terms of how you develop your pieces is always do the things that you know you have to do, and try to say what is the most important thing as far as a priority. My students always make fun of me because I use the word priority a lot. But in this case, is it more important to play bishop c3? Or is it more important to play knight e2 and castles? Well, in the game, white never castled at all. So the fact that he played bishop here and the fact that he played a4, that's really 2 lost tempos. Okay, so that's the end of that. We can't really go over the game any longer. Emma is very cool. Okay, well, let's see who this is. I bet I know who this is. Yes, I do know who this is. Hello, Tyler. How are you? Maybe you'll check out the video later. All right, so e4 is what I almost always play. And so now my opponent is deciding what to do. He's going to play the Caro-Kann. Okay, so this is a line that I played when I was a kid, and I also played it as an adult. But it helped me go from I started playing the Caro-Kann when I was like 1300 or something, and I played it all the way till I was almost a master. So that was an interesting idea. So I'm gonna play something called the 2 knights variation. So on knight c3, he's going to play d5, and then d4 is one of the main lines, but I'm going to try this 2 knights. I've actually tried this quite a bit in tournaments and mostly unpublished games. But all right, so this is the main line, which is bishop to g4. h3 is by far the best move here. And so queen takes, and now e6 or knight f6 are both lines. I've played both actually. But this line's pretty solid, I would say. But it gets to a lot of positions where you get a 3-2 pawn majority, and on the queen side, and it's where you have the 3-2 majority, and you often have the bishop pair. So that's usually a winner. d3 is a move here, but I'm going to play g3. Okay, I'm going to play it kind of slow. There is a forcing line that he can do here. He can take on e4, take, and try to play it a kind of slow. But okay, so bishop g2. So knight f6 is probably the move he's going to play in this position. Okay, and so there's no real need for me to commit to playing d4 here, so I'm going to go ahead and castle. And then Caro-Kann players almost always take on e4 at some point. It's just sort of in your blood. I think bishop c5 is actually the best move in these positions. That's kind of been an idea that's sort of recent, actually, this idea of playing bishop to c5. And then it has this annoying idea of playing bishop d4. So when you play bishop c5, it stops d4 from being played as well. Okay, so Tyler's just kind of playing a more of a solid type of game. Now, if I want to take it to more typical category, I could play d4, and then I'm threatening e5, so he would go ahead and take and take. We'll have a mass trade, and I'll have it to the two bishops, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little slower. This is more in the spirit of the position, and so now he's going to castle. Okay, and now I have to decide what to do here. Good question. Now, black doesn't have anything special in this position, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play g4, and the purpose of that is to gain a little bit of space. It also threatens g5, which can be a little bit juicy. And you remember at the very beginning of the video, we talked about how the bishop pair can be very important, and in these positions, and if you can open up the position, then the bishops are very good. If we keep it closed, that's kind of what black wants. So g4 is definitely a provocative move. G5 has just been, is definitely a threat here. And now he actually has to make a choice. I wonder, I bet the best move, okay, I don't think that's the best move. I think knight e8 was probably the best move. He's locking things up, which, again, you'd say, well, didn't you just say you want to lock it up? Yes, you do, except now what he just did was he gave me a hole here, okay? I could play c3 first. The question is whether I play g5 first or do I play knight g3. If I play knight g3, he probably will play g6, is my guess. If I play g5, knight e8, h4, there's a little more flexibility. My queen can move. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to bank everything on that. So I'm going to go ahead and play g5 here. He's definitely going to play there. And then actually, the question is, should I play queen g3? That might be interesting. But okay, let's just go ahead and play h4. One of the ideas of playing h4 is that you, of course, defend this pawn. You notice that white has two pawns on the light squares here. That makes this bishop not very good, but you can see the potential of playing bishop to h3 and now activating the bishop. You note that black does not have a lot of play in this position. So this is a grind type of position. I would say that white definitely has the edge here. So the question is now what do I do? Because now it's like I have to push for it. H5, of course, drops the pawn, so I don't want to do that. Bishop h3, I don't really see a need to do it. If I play knight g3, he'll play g6, and then I might have to sack a knight or something. So you know what? I'm just going to play it slow. I'm going to play queen to g3. And now I'm going to be hitting the e5 square, which is pretty good, right? That ties this knight down. In fact, I might even use it as a tactic. I might even play bishop h3, which threatens this pawn. I mean, it threatens to take the knight and then winning the e-pawn. He actually doesn't have a good way to defend. I think the way black should typically defend is play rook e8 and bishop f8. Let's see if he finds that. Of course, when you move the bishop back, it's another retreating move where white has the option of playing h5, g6. One of the things that never happened in this game so far is if black wanted to generate counterplay, he really needed to play c5 and then try to play c4 and open things. Okay, so he basically says, okay, I'm about to get steamrolled here. I'm going to play f5. So now I actually have a choice. Positionally, the correct move is to take with the pawn because then the bishop becomes active and it's a really nice piece. I have a white squared bishop and now it could be open. My students always make fun of me when I call it this, but it's the X factor. It's the thing that you have that the other guy does not have. My other option, of course, is to take on f6. Bishop takes and open things up. But you know what? I think this is the best move. I think this is going to be a winner. Not in terms of winning the game, but I think it's a good move. And then he's going to take with the knight, and I'm going to play queen g4. Okay, and now I have the idea of playing bishop e4. I can play knight g3 if I really want to get rid of the knight. And of course, the looming idea is playing f4 and totally opening up the game. So again, one of the problems for black here, and this happens with lower-rated players a lot, is they don't know exactly what to do. They get positions like this where they never develop a plan. So that's what kind of has happened so far in this game. So let's see if I can convert this. White has attacking ideas, as I said earlier. Bishop e4, knight g3, g6 maybe, although I don't really like that. Okay, so I think that move makes sense, but it also serves as a potential target. So I'm going to go ahead and play h5. All right, and so I'm threatening to take here and make this isolated. Not that I'm going to be able to gang up on it, but it does open up this h file. So for example, I could play bishop e4, king g2, rook h1 type of stuff. So now the pressure is definitely on black. If I were black, I'd probably play like rook f7 with the idea of knight f8. That might help defend a little bit. But you know, white definitely has the initiative in this position. So let's see what happens here. What's he going to do? Anyone? Anyone? He's getting down to about a minute and a half. And of course, by the way, when I get down to like 10 or 20 seconds, I probably will not do a ton of talking because I do need to focus and make sure I don't lose my mind. Okay, so rook f7, that's something we kind of anticipated. We're going to go ahead and play bishop e4. I'm going to wait for that knight to move away from d7 to go to f8 because it does weaken that. Oh, interesting. So he's playing aggressive here. Interesting. Okay, so now I have the choice. Now, this threatens to change the nature of the position substantially because when he takes, if I take with a pawn, then I don't own this square anymore. Okay, I'm going to see. So if I play f4, takes, that would win a pawn. Okay, so let's play. If knight g3, if I take on f5, he takes with the pawn probably. Although it's actually not probably too bad for me. I could play knight g3 and he could take and take. I don't really want to do that. I could play slow with bishop d2 or I have to play f4. I'm going to go ahead and play aggressively, but the question is do I take this first? Let's take this guy first. Okay, and he's going to have to take back. And then I'm going to go ahead. I wonder if king g2 is any good. Because if he takes, if king g2, if he takes knight d6, I have rook h1. Okay, but that kind of opens that up a little bit. Maybe bishop e4 was not the best. So if f4, if he takes, knight takes. I'm going to go ahead and play f4. I'm not sure this is good, but I'm a little worried about my king being a little open. Objectively, this is probably not correct, but it is blitz, and so he does have to come up with something. Okay, so now do I take with the bishop or the knight? I think that's really the fundamental question. So if I take here, he technically could take on g5, but that can't be right. If I take with the bishop, okay, I got to focus here. So let me just think. We're going to go ahead and play this. We're going to take with a bishop. And I think he's probably going to snap. And I got to be careful here. So he's going to play knight to d6 is what I'm guessing. And I got to defend that pawn. I can probably play knight g3. That's okay. Yeah, this did not go the way the home team wanted it to go. I did not play this correctly. I wonder if he gets a little scared and plays knight g7 here. I would really like that move a lot, I think. Ooh. Okay, that's got to be lost after takes. Takes. Oh, okay. I'll take here with that. And now I've got queen to e6 check, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a disaster. Yeah, he's got to play king h8. So the question is, do I play rook f7? Do I check on h3? I'm going to give this check just in case he screws up. There's no downs up. He did mess up by playing here because now it allows me to take on g6, and then I can play rook f7, and this should end the game. Oh my God, I messed up. I forgot about the check. Oh no. Okay, so let's not panic. I got to go back. I messed up. Let's check this out. Okay, this is what happens when you talk too much. Here, check. If I take here, he's got check on g4. Let's risk it. Let's risk it. We're going to go here. Oh, he has a perpetual, doesn't he? I messed up. Not good, Robbie. Not good. He's got a perpetual. I messed up. Yep. So, yeah, so I messed up there. And that's a really good lesson, that I was not paying attention to the check on there, and I was kind of focused on my own attack. So I really did mess that up. Not good. Not good by me. So okay, so I got to come up with a way to win this. Oh, I'm playing one of my ex-students. Hello, Zach. How are you? Good to talk to you. Let's see if you're going to play your normal opening, or are you going to play something else. I know what's coming. Hello. Yes, Perker French. Yes, I was just saying that on the video. Yes, I would say you pick. Oh, and of course he plays the perk. All right, so let's see if we let's see how this goes. D4, and then what's going to happen here? He's going to play knight f6, knight c3. Okay, and probably going to play g6. All right, so interesting. We got some choices here. I'll go ahead and play bishop e3. Let's give that a shot. Don't always play this, but let's check this out. Aha, a6. So he's going to try to play kind of a what I call the rat, okay? And so we're going to go queen d2. He's going to play b5. I need to guard that pawn. I'm going to go ahead and play f3 here. I'm not going to play bishop d3. I'm going to try to play a little slower. And so we're going to develop our pieces a little bit with knight g2, knight ge to e2. And then he'll probably play knight d7, okay? And I'm going to play g4. And now we get complicated. I am definitely a little out of theory here, but we're going to go ahead and check it out. Let's play h4, and he might take, but this time I could take with a bishop maybe. Typically in the open Sicilian type of positions, which is what this is, you have to take with the knight. But maybe I'll play I'll take with a bishop this time, just to throw him a little bit of a wrinkle. Although on takes knight e5, that could be a little bit of a problem because he's threatening to take here and also play knight to c4. So okay, so what's happening here? He's got to make a decision. He's got to play CD if he wants to be consistent. I don't really see another move that makes sense. You know, you shouldn't really worry too much about playing. You shouldn't worry about playing h5 here. I think that's a little premature. So let's see what he does. Taking a lot of extra time here to make that decision. I guess he might be evaluating b4 as well to try to kick my knight to a bad square. Aha, he did. Okay, so I got to go to d1. I don't really like a4. That's really putting it on the side of the board. Okay, but now that he's played b5, now the c4 square isn't guarded by a pawn anymore. So now I feel a lot more comfortable when he does play cd that I could take with the knight and there's no problem. My knight can always swing over to f2 if need be. But let's see what happens here. Okay, so he's attacking. He's definitely being a little inconsistent with c5 and a5. Don't really mix that well. So let's see if I can punish him and take advantage of this. So let's go ahead and play h5. I'm definitely gonna open up his king here because now I'm threatening to take here, and he doesn't really want to take with the. He can't take with the h pawn, of course, and then fg makes that h file open pretty good. Okay, so he's really going after this. I guess I could probably play d5 and just lock everything up and then try to kill him on the king side. But the move I really want to play is hg, but he might throw in cd. Takes, and then the bishop retreats. I guess the king is a little bit airy, but maybe not. Let's see. I'm going to be more cautious here. I'm going to play d5 here. I'm going to lock things up. Because now he can't, if my pawn was on h4, I definitely would not play this because he might play h5 and stop it. But now I've sort of cut off a lot of his play because now, like, where does it come from? I guess he could play c4, but, you know, if I'm really worried about a c3 break, I can always play c3 myself. So not such a big deal. Okay, so he's going to play bishop a6. Now, in truth, you got to be careful because this is his good bishop and this is my bad bishop. And how do we know that? We know that based on the fact that white has, 5 of his pawns in a row, all on white squares. So knight g3 is definitely not something I'm going to be worried about. Or I'm sorry, trading the bishops I'm not going to be worried about. So knight g3 is interesting. Again, I don't see a need to play h takes g and do take a risk. So let's go ahead and play knight g3. And then if he takes, I'm going to take with a king this time because I want to preserve the h-file. So he probably will take, I'm sure, is what he'll do because it makes sense. It's the only reason you put the bishop on a6 to begin with. But he did not. So he played here. Okay, so I'm going to take here. I don't see any downside to playing it this way. And then I'm going to go ahead and play b3, which is annoying for him because it stops knight c4. The question, what I was evaluating was knight c4, queen d3, but I think he can take here, and if I take here, he can take on c2 and all that stuff. So let's see if we can find something because I smell blood, but you know what? We're just going to play b3. We're going to, in the interest of time, we're going to take away all that. We're going to play prophylactically, see what he wants to do, and we'll go from there. So what's he going to do here? Okay, so he's going to play a4. I could move my rook away, but I don't really see a need to do that. I'm just going to leave it. If he takes here, that's not the greatest structure for me. I'm not super happy about that. I could play rook c1. He might take, and play rook a2. Again, that's really not that scary. Maybe I should do that, actually, now that we're talking about it. Could play queen e2 as well, with the idea of queen b5 check, maybe. Let's take a look. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and play rook c1. I know it looks very wimpy, but I'm going to try it. And he's going to, of course, take. There's no reason not to. Yeah, I think he's going to have to. Notice that c4 can't be played because the b4 pawn is spalling. So really, it's really hard for him to find a move here. To generate any kind of like immediate counterplay. He might have some stuff later. Okay. For you guys that don't know, this person that I'm playing here, Zach, was on my high school chess team that I coached at Catalina Foothills here in Tucson, Arizona. And Zach, I think, began high school with a rating around 1700, and he ended his career in the 2050, 2060s and that was all, and a lot of that was based on his last year of school, in which he went crazy at nationals and made a ridiculous amount of upsets and really just had a phenomenal tournament. So Zach was a really good student, and now he's currently attending school at the University of Arizona here in Tucson. So I'm kind of waiting for him to make a decision. He probably is not sure what to do because he has to make a decision as to what to do with his king. And the bishop on f8 is not the greatest in the world because it is stuck behind all these pawns. But he doesn't really want to leave control over the king side either. Okay, so he made the hard move of playing that. And so now really the onus is on me to find something. I gotta beat him here. I gotta find something. So what am I going to do? I can take on g6 and play bishop g5. I could take and play g5. That might look kind of interesting. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play knight f2 here first because I'm going to give him some more things to think about. Because again, whenever someone's in time pressure, captures is the worst thing you can do because it gives them, it's really an only move. They have to take back. And they don't really have a choice. So they gotta find something here. One of the reasons I'm playing knight f2, by the way, is maybe to take g5, have the knight move, and then maybe have the knight hop into g4. Whoa. Okay. So that's creating a weakness. I really don't think that's correct. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And then I have the option after taking that I could maybe take on h6, or I can play g5. I think both would be quite good. I don't like the pin necessarily, so I'm going to go ahead and play g5 here. and then he's going to have to either decide whether he's going to play knight g8 and entomb his, all his pieces are going to be on the original squares on the king side. So I wonder if that was a mouse slip on Zach's part, because I'm surprised that he played that move. Okay, so here in this position I got the option of playing hg and being up a pawn. I could play knight g4, and then he would probably play h5, and then do I gain anything by playing knight f6? Takes. Let's think about that. So knight g4, h5, takes. I don't think there's enough there. I wonder. Let's go ahead and grab this guy, I guess. It is free. By the way, one thing that will be interesting to see in this game, just as a preview, I don't know that this is going to happen, but this rook being on a6 is actually not protected. So I wonder if this queen e2 gives me a target later. So let's take a look and see if that ends up being a factor. Okay, so maybe let's play bishop to g5, although I really want to play queen g5, or get my queen into g5. I wonder if I could do this. Or am I just being too cautious here? Maybe I can play knight h3, actually. Yeah, but the idea is to play knight g5, but I don't want to hang this either. Okay, you know what? We're going to give this a try. It's not committing me to play knight g5, but it is definitely a threat. And I can always play queen e2, remember, with a tempo, hitting this guy. But he might play c4 to try to counteract that stuff. So 52 seconds, but with the increment, this is going to get a little dicey. I can definitely tell already. I wonder if I should just play slow here and just play king f2. If knight g5, he might take on h6 with the rook. Takes, knight e6, takes. There's no reason for that. I'm just going to play here. I'm going to play slow. I'm going to give him more stuff to think about. All right, so now he's really opening stuff up. Now, this is probably the thing that I really want him to do, because now I can just grab this guy, and I'm not threatening to win a piece now, and I'm also threatening queen b5 check. Yikes. All right, and so this is probably going to be pretty good here, because now I'm going to win the rook. So this is what happens when you're low on time. You get low on time, and Zach resigns. So yeah, so he put up some good resistance, but I think one of the biggest mistakes in this game was basically was probably when he played c5. The purpose of c5 is really to take here. So when you play c5, play b4, and then a5, and then e5, those moves all don't fit together, and I think he got off on a bad plan. That's what often happens in chess games, by the way, is people develop a bad plan, and they can't get it out of their mind, and they keep following it. So that's interesting. So okay, so I got 2.5 out of 3, and there's 3 out of 3s. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to get a chance to play one of the good players. That sucks. So okay, so it's going to be between I know these two people from Tucson here, Coach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the Ketchup King. And then the person I drew with looks like he won again, so that's interesting. So I wonder if the computer will pair me against the 3s, or because the 2.5s have already played. But if I were doing the pairings, I'd have the 2 3s play. That makes the most sense of all of what to do. So we'll see who I play. Let's see who else is still playing. Is anybody still playing? Looks like we had a couple people withdraw. I've done that before. Let's see. And I'm playing Jarmax, so I'm not going to get a chance to play one of the leaders. And it's round 4 of 4. So unfortunately, I'm not going to get a chance to win this tournament. Hello, Jared Coulter from Gilbert. Thank you. Great to see you playing. Jared is also a really talented player from Arizona, and he is, I think he has already finished college at ASU, I want to say, and he's probably working somewhere really good. So it's great to see all these Arizona players playing in this tournament. He said, it's been a while. Hung my queen last game for free. Well, that was lovely. Okay, so all right. So he's trying to avoid my Benko, but I'm going to force the issue. I'm going to say, all right, you're going to have to make a choice. All right, so he's playing very solid. This is not the most ambitious line, but you know what? We're just going to play slow, and this will be kind of a really slow type of game. I don't see this being a huge tactical mess. Jinx, but we'll see. So queen c7, the purpose of this is, why did he play c3? Well, of course, if I take, he wants to take with the pawn, and that would allow the knight to go to c3. So again, don't cooperate with your opponent. Just because you can capture something doesn't mean that you should. So there's no real need to do that. So okay, interesting. Bishop g5. And so here, I don't really want to play g6 because he'll take and mess my pawns up. If I play d6, he might take and mess my pawns up. But that is dynamic. Knight e4 is probably the most solid way to play it. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and play d6 here, and I'm going to let him take. If he wants to mess with my pawns, let him. Okay? I don't think he will, but let's see. Let's check this out and see if... okay, he didn't. All right, so now we're going to transpose into something a little more sturdy in the position. You know, now my knights guard each other. And so, yeah, so he's playing very passively here, but it's very solid. There's nothing wrong with this. Completely fine. He's going to play knight b2, castle. Okay, so now positionally, a4 is actually a good move in these type of positions. So I'm going to go ahead and play g6. I'm sorry, b6. Long day at work today, even though I'm only working minor shifts at the office. But anyway, after b6, I'm going to play bishop b7. I'm going to go for e4. If you might not have figured out already, the advantage of putting the pawn on d6 is that it holds the e5 square. Okay, so bishop b7. Again, positionally, a4 is a good move here. The idea is actually to play a5 and create some sort of play here. Not sure if he'll play that or not, but again, this is a very, very solid type of position. Let's see what happens. If he plays bishop g3 at some point, by the way, I think I might play knight h5 and try to win that bishop. I got to do it though when he can't play bishop back to h4 because it's just a loss of tempo for me, so it wouldn't really make any sense. I could try and see if he'd allow it or not. But okay, so he's really thinking. I think what he's trying to decide is if he doesn't know that a4 is an idea, then he has to be playing for e4. That's the only other real true idea in the position. Okay, so he's playing again very timidly, but again, there's nothing wrong with that. He is threatening to play e4 now. So the question is, do I play d5 and change the nature of the position? The problem is if I play d5, he might play bishop g3 and allow the knight to go to e5, which gives up a square, and it's kind of against the whole purpose of the system. But he is going to play e4, and I need to have an answer ready for that as well. So what am I going to do here? If I play rook e8, if he plays e4, I could play e5. We get sort of a king's Indian, although it's a little strange king's Indian actually. But let's see, what can I do here? If I play, I'm not going to take on d4. That would not be the best, although I guess I could technically. If I play rook e8, he'll play e4, and then I either have to take on d4, which doesn't look very good, or I can play e5. He could take. Is he going to get that square? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and play. I'm going to play RAE8 and bank on the fact that he's going to play e4. What the heck? He's playing slow, so why can't I? So let's see what he comes up with here. I'm choosing this rook and not the other rook because if he plays e4, e5, and he plays d5, I'm actually going to want the rook here to play for f5, and I don't really see that I need my rook on the corner on the queen side anyway. So maybe this will be kind of an interesting way to play this. So let's see what he plays here. Okay, so he's playing very slowly here. Now the onus is really on me. I've got to find something here. I got to play a move. Because right now, he is daring me to play e5, and he's clearly not wanting to play e4. So sometimes psychologically, you can use that to your advantage. I think a really solid move here would be knight e4, but I think it makes it really easy on him to do that. So I'm gonna avoid that if I can. The question is, do I play e5? And if he takes, he might have knight c4. Now that would be annoying because knight d6 or queen d6 might be interesting. So maybe I have to be a little careful here and not fall in love with the fact that he's playing a little bit passively. You know what? We're going to go ahead and play knight e4 here. But I'm not thrilled with that either. If e5, if he takes, I could take with the knight, I suppose. Takes. I just don't know. I have a student that says, I don't know. Maybe he's listening. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and play knight e4 just because I think it's the most solid way to play this. He'll probably take and play knight to d2, or he'll take and play bishop d3. Either way, I'm okay with it. But again, this is a little bit on the dry side, and so since I'm playing someone lower rated than me, it's not exactly the most fun way to play this. When you're the higher rated player, you got to take a lot of risks, and this is one of those situations. So, okay, so let's see what he does here, because you know he's dying to play something aggressive too here. Okay, so he played bishop d3. So he said, screw it, I'm just going to go there. Now I actually can play d5 and not regret it, or I could take on d2, and then if he takes with the queen, I could entertain taking here, or he could take with the knight. I don't know that I gain anything out of that though. f5, not really my style. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and play d5. I'm not thrilled with this, but I think it is decently solid, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to play d5. So this is really a changing of the pawn structure completely. This is something where, the whole game I was, setting up maybe to play e5, but now I'm going to play d5 here. I still might play e5 actually, and gains a little bit more space. If you see, black's pawns are more advanced than white's are. But again, this is a very dry type of position, and it got white a very playable position. So, okay, so let's see what happens. He's going to have to make a choice here, and this game might come down to the clock, just because we're both now under 2 minutes and playing slow as molasses. I bet Jared hasn't played in a tournament for a while. I haven't played since early August, so I'm definitely not in the chess playing shape, although I do play Blitz online, so that part's fun. All right, so he takes. This is actually giving up his good bishop, so I'm a little surprised he did that. And then the problem here is now I can now defend with knight f6, and now, interestingly, this knight is kind of out of play. Because now, where does he go? Here? Yikes. So yeah, I think Jared made a mistake by taking on e4 with the bishop. You can tell that was his good bishop, by the way. How do you tell? Because all of the pawns here, all of his center pawns and side center pawns for the most part, are on dark squares. So, okay. So let's see if we can take advantage of this. If h6, knight e4, takes. Does g5, f5 do anything? It doesn't win material. I guess I can just simply play queen c6 slowly and defend, I guess. And we'll see what he does here. Maybe he'll play knight c4 and try to hop into here. But I don't think that's really that good, frankly. We'll see. Because now I think what he's debating now, do I play f3 just so I can get my knight to a good square? Because when the knight goes here, it's kind of stuck. All right, so he's basically forcing himself to do that. I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to imprison the knight so he can't move. Okay. One of my friends, Mark Ginsburg, calls this entombed. Okay. All right, so he's going to take here and try to open up. He's going to try to do something. The question is, do I take with the queen or the pawn? I don't think it matters. I'm going to take with the pawn. And now I've got a couple ideas. Bishop a6 with the idea of bishop here looks pretty good. Bishop c8, though, looks very good. That looks scary as heck for him. So you know what? We're going to go here and give him something to worry about. He'll probably take here, but I really don't care. I'm not really dying to take, and frankly, this is, you know, it's just a double pawn. I really don't have to do anything. I probably won't even take the knight either, because there's no the knight on c3. If I take, boom, boom, probably not. Let's just go here. Let's improve our pieces. Again, the knight can't go anywhere, so there's no reason to take it, right? So, all right, so he's going for here. He's trying to win some stuff here. I could play, interesting what he's doing here. I could play rook to d3. Let's go rook d3 here and sandwich that puppy in there. And that actually is a nice little outpost. I can put something there. I guess he could play bishop d4, but I really don't think that does all that much. So I could just play like, let's go here. I got to move fast. Ooh, shoot. Okay, we got to go. So let's see what happens here. I probably could sack the exchange here, actually, and give him some problems. But there's no real need to do that yet. I'm just going to, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to panic. My coach hates it when I panic. Okay. But g4, okay. What's this? Ooh, got to be careful here. All right, let's go back. Okay, we're going to try to create some tricks here because his king is very weak here. I wanted to play g4, but now with the rook on g1, I don't really want to do that. So let's go here, and he might take. Okay, I have to pay attention here. Sorry for this. Okay, so we're going to go for queen f3. Ooh, my mouse is acting up. All right, we're going to grab this guy. We're going to grab this guy. And so we're going to go here. We're going to go here. Oops, he hung his rook, but fortunately I pre-moved with this. And he got mated. Yeah, so interesting game. Obviously, time played an incredible role in this part of the game, where, you know, we were kind of messing around. It was kind of a positional game, and then when he took on e4 with the bishop, that finally clarified things a little bit. It gave me the bishop for the knight advantage, and remember that when he traded the bishop on d3 for the knight on e4, that was his good bishop, so that really helped me a lot. So that was quite good. This guy, the guy who won the tournament, wants a private chat. I guarantee that's my ex-student, Rohan Matal, who used to be on my team, and he's 2150, and he sent me a private chat. And of course he wants to talk smack because he won the tournament and I did not. But you know what? I'm not going to give him the satisfaction of doing that. No, Rohan, you're not getting the satisfaction of me accepting that. The problem is he's going to text me later, and then he'll have double time to try to go after me. It's too bad there's not a second, one more round, because he knows what the result would be. It's just like, it's like very typical. Looks like we got one game left between Checker07 and Alejandron J. Okay, the guy I played in the first game, actually, who played pretty well, but he didn't do as well in this tournament. A lot of people from my camp that I run on a yearly basis are playing in this event. So good to see people from Tucson and from Phoenix area supporting this. Thank you for supporting SACA and this. And hopefully you guys have learned something from my chat. Congratulations to Coach 123456. Hit the 2300 number. Keep those points, please. I will go get them later. Don't worry. I got no problem with that. Notice at the bottom of the screen, I have not, or maybe you can't see it, but he's asked in the private chat, and I'm just not gonna respond because I'll act like I didn't see it. So anyway, hopefully you guys found that video instructive, and thanks for tuning in. And that's going to be it for today. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got a 3-series on the Benko, and I'm going to be posting this video. I'm posting this video as soon as I get a chance, and then I'll be doing some more later. So thank you very much.